Hey, Insight 132, listen up. Feel good about any progress you make, even though you might still fall into sexual gratification, which is self-pleasure. With every fall into sexual gratification, or with every fall by simply thinking about it, backtrack, think in reverse, and recognize what thoughts led to other thoughts that led eventually to sex. Recognize the sexual influences, the reason for their potency, and the pathways of consciousness they traverse. Many of the reasons of their potency have already been previously mentioned. Therefore, you must learn to recognize and identify those various reasons in their separate forms when they are presented in a multi-layered manner. So what's happening is that when you are influenced by a sexual influence of some sort, right? Usually it's not just one thing. These sexual influences are presented in a multi-layered form. Numerous influences are in there. And so when you are exposed to it, you want to identify it in a separated form. Break it down. Go, oh, this influence has this, all these separate elements. This element, that element, that element, that element. Each of them, you want to recognize the reason for the potency. Okay, so you want to feel good about any progress you make, even though you might still fall into self-pleasure, right? Okay, so what I'm saying here in Insight 132 is, with every fall into sexual gratification, so if you actually self-pleasure yourself, or actually get into a sexual interaction, or with every fall by simply thinking about it, meaning, let's say you don't get involved sexually with anybody, or you do not self-pleasure, but you mentally are aroused somehow. So yes, so with every fall by simply thinking about it. So if you think about it, and you're led into sexual thoughts. So in either case, whether you do an action or you just simply think about it, backtrack, think in reverse. Think in reverse. So you want to go from, yeah. All these things will be described very neatly in the following insights. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to recognize the sexual influences. So when you've been hit by the sexual influences and you become conscious, right? You want to recognize these influences and the reason for the potency. So there's reasons, not just one reason, reasons, many reasons for the potency of the sexual influences. And you want to identify each separate element, each separate potency. One potency, this, which have been already mentioned, talking about, ideas that are contrasting, place that is happening, the activity that is happening, the oddity of the activity, the identities involved, so many stuff that we already talked about. Yep. You must learn to recognize and identify those various reasons in their separate forms, individual. Because as a group, they totally overwhelm your consciousness. when they are presented in multi-manner, you're separating, you're going to dissect it, dismantle it. And good.